Hi guys. Oh, I should actually put in my microphone. That would be good, wouldn't it? Hi guys, welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of August 2017. I'm so glad that you're joining me today to talk about some knitting. This will be a little bit of a different podcast just because I won't be showing all the stuff that I've been working on. I'm kind of playing around with my format and what works for me. Case in point, I have started recording after work during the week rather than on the weekends, and I'm just trying to keep it very simple, so we'll just see how it goes. So if you're watching for the first time, welcome to the craziness. I hope you like it, and if you're coming back, thank you ever so much. As a side note, I literally just got back from work. It's about 35 degrees, which is boiling to me, especially with no air conditioning at work or at home. So I just got changed and got out of the shower, so I have crazy panda eyes following the shower. My hair is wet, and by wet I don't mean like a tiny bit wet, it's dripping wet, but I just don't care. I just decided to record a podcast or something that resembles a podcast, so welcome and enjoy. So first of all, we have some winners to announce. We have to announce the winners for the Celebrate Your Stash Along. The first prize, which was a bag from Wild and Woolly, who makes bags as well as handmade soaps and lotion bars, and you will get one of those to try as well. And the lovely maker will send the prize straight to the winner, and the winner was drawn using random number generator, and the number was 35, which is Rita Knitting, and she's actually based in Canada, so that should be great. So congratulations, Rita. Please get in touch with me via Ravelry message, and then I will let Joanne know, and you will get the prize. The second winner was number 22, who is Lama Alpaca, and she's based in London, UK. And she has won, or you have won, a skein of Piratenwolle, which was donated by a lovely viewer, as well as some stitch markers from Knitting in France. I forgot to bring them over, but I will send that straight to you as soon as you contact me, also via Ravelry. So thank you to all the people who donated prizes for this knit along, and of course also thank you to everyone who participated. I had a lot of fun, and it was so fun to see you guys knitting with your stash, and there were some incredible works in progress and finished objects, so yay! I feel like I'm racing through this and speaking like a crazy person. Sorry about that. That happens when you've been on the phone basically all day. So let's move on to what do we usually move on to? First of all, I should maybe say we have a Ravelry group on Ravelry called the Happy Knitting Podcast Group. So that's where you can find show notes, introduction threads, questions and answers, shameless self-promotions, all the knit-alongs, everything can be found in there. And apparently I can't talk anymore, so we'll just move on. I have one finished object this week, and I did not put it on sock blockers, but I finished Kai's, as he calls them, his business socks. These were knit out of a Lang yarns. I don't have the ball band, I don't have the colorway number, but I did talk about the yarn last week, so I won't go into detail. I just finished them. I knit these 2 at a time using 68 stitches on a US size 1 2.25 millimeter needle. These are just plain vanilla socks with a fish lips kiss heel, and Kai absolutely loves them. I will talk more about Kai's yarns later, Kai's socks I should say. But these are done, they haven't been blocked, he hasn't worn them yet, but fingers crossed they will fit him, and yeah, I quite liked working with this yarn, and excuse the crazy lighting, that's what you get when you record at night. But this is what the yarn looks like. I'm very curious to see how this will wear. But it does look very rustic, but it feels very soft, so I would recommend it so far. Okay, so I just changed my setup slightly because this lighting is driving me insane. So we'll see how this works, and if it doesn't, I'll have to record another time. So for works in progress, I'm just going to show you 2 works in progress today because the other ones I've barely worked on, and like I said, time is a bit of an issue here. So I cast on the handspun that I showed you last week. This is a handspun. It's about 480 meters per 100 grams, so it's definitely on the light fingering weight side. And I spun it as a chain ply using fiber from Elfenwolle, who is a German indie dyer for fiber. It's a merino nylon blend, and I decided to cast on straight away. So I'm really enjoying how these socks are working up. I cast them on toe up, which is what I like to do when I'm not quite sure about the gauge, because it just makes it so much easier to increase a couple of stitches and try them on. So I did increase up to 68 stitches, and am knitting a plain vanilla pair of socks, and I love these socks so much. I purposely try to kind of keep the colors together by chain plying the yarn and splitting the braid into 4 pieces, and I love how it's creating these stripes. This is exactly how I wanted it to knit up, and I'm super happy because it's so hard with spinning to make it work exactly how you want it to, especially in terms of color management. So I'm very excited about these socks. And yeah, these will be for me, and I love handspun socks. I kind of want to have more handspun socks in my sock drawer, which I counted yesterday. My sock drawer has 56 pairs of socks, which is kind of insane. And these are just my socks. Kai has his own socks. But I kind of expected to even have more than that, so somehow that kind of calmed me down. Craziness. My other work in progress that I want to show you today is a pair of socks that I cast on yesterday. This is some Bergère de France yarn, which I got in France in our holiday 2 weeks ago, and I just love it. It's in the Gumi 50 base, and I think there's only one colorway like that, so it doesn't matter that I don't know the number, because you should find it if you Google Bergère de France Gumi 50. It's just a standard sock yarn, and it's quite popular, or at least I've been seeing it pop up on podcasts, and I'm super excited about this. So I just knit a vanilla sock, and I cast this on late last night. So this is what it looks like. I did 15 rows of 1x1 twisted rib and a vanilla cuff, and I love this sort of self-patterning. I think it's super fun, and I can't wait to work on this some more. I just love these socks. And I'm really enjoying the base as well, because I love commercial yarns, but sometimes I don't like the bases, but this one is quite nice and relatively soft and easy to work with, so I'm happy with that. And these are also 64 stitches on a US size 1 2.25 millimeter needle. So that's it for my whips for this week. Instead of boring you with whips that have barely been worked on, I decided to show you some more of Kai's socks. So if you've been watching this podcast for a while, you know that I tend to do this every now and then. After doing sock laundry, I'll just pick up a couple of pairs of socks and talk about how they've worn, how I'm liking the yarn, and so on. And this week I decided to pick up some of Kai's socks, because Kai is super hard on his socks. So if you are a dyer and you want to know how sturdy or how well your base wears, just knit a pair of socks or give me some yarn and knit a pair of socks for Kai, because Kai will go through all kinds of socks super quickly. I don't know what he does with them. He doesn't know himself either. He just wears them, but he just completely wears through his socks, or he doesn't have holes in them very often, but he's just not very sort of soft on them. So I figure it's a great test for yarns. So I just picked up a couple of pairs, and you can see kind of his color preference right here. So I'm just going to go through them, not to sort of talk bad things about dyes, but just sort of to show my experience with these yarns. So the first one is quite a letdown. This is Lang Yarns. I knit these socks for him for Kai's birthday, which was only last November, and so that's only like 8 months ago. And he hasn't worn them crazy amounts even, but you can already see they're really falling apart. And with these socks and this yarn, I had some difficulties with gauge, and they always felt kind of not as thick as some other socks, and you can just see that they're very pilly, even though they look better on screen than they do in person, to be honest. He still loves them, he still wears them, there's nothing wrong with them, there's no holes, and I don't think there's going to be holes very soon, but they just don't look that nice to me anymore. And you can see how he has like weird discoloration on his heels. You can see it on this one even more. We have no idea what happened with that, and that's the only pair of socks that has that, so I have no idea. But I'm not super impressed, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with the yarn, and it is wearing fine, and yeah. But yeah, not super happy with these socks. But he still loves them, so I don't care. Then I have to show you this pair. This is quite a bit older. This is a pair that I knit out of a Wolkenstoff yarn, which is a German indie dyer, and this was on her luxury sock base, which I really like to work with. It's her more luxurious 80/20 merino nylon base, and it's a really fun base to work with, and you can see there's quite a bit of pilling and sort of color discoloration at the bottom of the foot. So with these ones, they do feel a lot nicer than the ones that I just showed you. They still hold up fine, but you can just see the pilling, which is probably to do with the nylon, the merino content. So with these, I don't hate them. I think they're okay, considering that Kai has worn them for quite a while, and he, like I said, is hard on his socks, but they're a little bit better than this pair. Another pair that I wanted to pick out is one from Shebot Garnet, because I constantly talk about their yarn, so it only makes sense to talk about how it wears. This is a super soft yarn. It's and their soft sock base, which is an 80/20 merino nylon blend, which like I said, I love it. I talk about it all the time. I knit with it all the time. And because it's a super soft yarn, these have, of course, some pilling, and you can see they're not as new anymore, but with this yarn, it kind of just felts very, very slightly and creates a really comfortable sock. So Kai still loves them, and I'm actually quite happy with them as well. They look quite different to the socks that I knit out of the same base for myself, because I don't know what we do differently, but they're holding up just fine. And yes, they do have some pilling. I could depill them, but I'm just not going to depill someone else's socks, or mine for that matter. But yeah, with these ones, you can see the wear, but they're still super comfortable, and yeah, we're quite happy with them. Then we have another pair which has held up very well, which I'm not surprised by, because this is a more sturdy yarn. This is probably the sturdiest yarn of all the ones that I'm showing you today. This is Austermann Step in their hand-dyed range, and you can see that these socks are looking really, really good. I didn't necessarily enjoy working with the yarn so much because it was very sturdy. It's a 75/25 wool nylon blend. It's no merino. But you can see the benefits in these socks by how well they've worn, and I think these are going to keep wearing really, really well. You can see some slight felting at the heels, but in general, these are holding up super, super well, which, like I said, is what I expected for this yarn. So there's a reason why there are workhorse yarns out there, and I would consider this to be one. The colors have stayed amazingly well. I'm really impressed with that, because it's a very saturated skein. So yeah, thumbs up for that one in terms of wearability. Then I have two more pairs to show you. This first one is super, super ugly. This is the first pair of hand-dyed socks that I knit for Kai, and this is sort of what he calls his introduction to nice yarns, because this is what got him hooked on crazy yarns, on hand-dyed yarns, and so on. He loves these socks to death. I knit them for him probably 2 years ago, and they are basically just one piece of felt. They've gone through the wash a million times, because I don't hand wash my socks, and he does not let me throw them out. I even offered to knit him the exact same colorway up again, because it's a yarn from Ferner Wolle, I should say, which is an Austrian yarn. And they still have this colorway, so it would be easy to just do another pair for him, and I probably will do that for his birthday, maybe as a surprise. But he just wants to keep this exact pair, and he loves this. This is a super soft yarn as well. I have another skein of it in my stash. And you can see at some parts of the foot, it's just completely felted, like there's no stitches anymore. It's incredibly pilly, and it's just turned into like a thick piece of fabric, which is in no way a fault of the yarn. It's just a matter of wearing these to death. Like, I literally have to take this off his feet, and once they come out of the wash, they're his first pair that he grabs, and he just loves them to death. So I would definitely recommend this yarn. You can see there's like fuzz and everything on the inside. It's basically felted. But I would definitely still recommend this yarn, just because the way that these socks look is not at all fault of the yarn, but just love and lots of wear and tear. And yeah, Kai loves these socks to death, like I said a million times. And yeah, it makes me happy as a knitter to see someone appreciate these socks so much, even though sometimes I'm mad at him, because I just want to knit him prettier socks, and throw these old ones out and he doesn't let me, but in my heart I'm really, really grateful that he loves these so much. And then the last one pair that I have to show you is the clear winner, because these are not super, super old. See, these have been through the wash a couple of times, and this is Wollmeise in their twin base, which is a sock base, and I think it's the only sock yarn that I know of that is an 8-ply. So this yarn is incredibly strong, and you can see these socks are still absolutely perfect. Like, it's just amazing what this yarn does. Yes, it is a bit more pricey, but I kind of want to knit a ton of pairs of socks for Kai out of this yarn, especially because he just needs that extra strength, and this yarn is so beautiful, and like the stitches, you can see every single stitch looks perfect. There's no felting. And in contrast, the heel, which I knit out of a Cascade Heritage Mini, I believe, has felted and gotten all crappy, but the Wollmeise part of the sock is just perfect. Yes, I did not knit them for him like a year ago, probably just a few months ago, but I'm super, super impressed with their sock yarn just for that reason. Also, they are the most saturated socks he has, and the color is just still really beautiful, and I'm very impressed with this yarn. So in terms of keeping socks nice and wearing them for a long time, I think I'm going to go back to knitting a few more pairs out of this kind of yarn, because it just holds up so well compared to all of these other socks that I showed you. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the other yarns that I showed you. It's just a matter of Kai being hard on his socks. But yeah, I'm really impressed by Wollmeise, because I wasn't always a huge fan, and yeah, this has definitely won me over. And just because lots of people keep asking me, I do wash all of my socks in the washing machine, and I don't use fancy wool wash or anything. I just use a normal sort of washing liquid from the supermarket that is meant for wool, if I remember. Otherwise it just gets a normal wool washing liquid stuff, whatever. I'm not very fancy with my yarns, because as a lovely viewer and friend said, life is too short to hand wash socks, and I completely agree. If they break down, I'll just knit a few more. So I hope that was interesting for you. If not, I'm sorry I bored you. All of these socks can be found on my project page, so if you're looking for a specific colorway or anything, you will find that information there. So with that, the only other thing that I have to talk about is acquisitions. So I have 3 skeins of yarn to show you. All of them were a surprise to me. It was a surprise to me because it was a yarn club that I completely forgot about. So that was a great surprise to find that in the mailbox yesterday. And that's the yarn club from Nicole C. Mendes. So if you're in the club and you don't want to see the August colorway, look away, because I'm going to show it. And here goes. Isn't this just beautiful? I had a huge smile on my face when I opened this. This is the 3rd shipment of the first club that I joined, and I did rejoin. And every single skein that I got so far, I have absolutely loved. So Nicole C. Mendes is a German indie dyer who does a lot of self-striping colorways, and all of her clubs are for self-striping yarns. This is on her soft sock, which is her 80% merino, 20% polyamide blend. And these colors are just so beautiful. I have a huge thing for mint at the moment, so I don't know how she guessed that, but like I said, I love every single colorway she sent me so far. This one is called Poppy, and yeah, I love it so much. I'm so happy I rejoined for her next club, because I'm so happy to be stocking up on self-striping yarn. The other 2 skeins are skeins that Kai ordered. Kai wanted some more sock yarn because he wanted more socks, and I said we can do that, but we have to order from Bärenwolle, because I love Bärenwolle. So this is her logo. I'm sure most of you have heard from her. She's another German indie dyer, and this skein is the skein that Kai picked. It's a one of a bear, which is a one-of-a-kind colorway. It doesn't have a name. He thinks it's Germany colors, which I can't argue with, and he completely fell in love with this skein, so I'm going to knit him a pair of socks out of this probably quite soon. But then again, I want to knit him so many pairs of socks. I just don't get around to it, so we'll see. And both of the skeins are in her barefoot sock base, which is one of my favorite bases out there. It's an 80-20 merino polyamide blend, and I really like it. And he also picked out a skein for me, which was so lovely of him. He didn't need to do that. And I, of course, wanted all the soft pinks and peaches, and he said, no, you have to go crazy. So he picked the craziest skein there is, and I absolutely love it. It came in a prettier skein. I just played with it yesterday, so that's why it looks like this. And the colorway is called Rollerblades. Like I said, it's the same base. This is what her card looks like on the other side. And this is going to be a super fun, crazy pair of socks for winter or autumn when it's like gray outside. This is going to bring me happiness. So I'm super, super excited about these yarns and also quite grateful to have such a yarny boyfriend. It's so funny because at work I wear business clothes, obviously, so I tend to wear a lot of black and, I have to be careful to wear proper stuff. And the way that I deal with all the boring work clothes is by wearing crazy neon socks in my shoes, and they give me such a thrill and I just love it. Also, although no one sees it, it makes me very, very happy. So that's it for my acquisitions and for life in general. I don't really have the time to talk anymore, and I'm so tired. I'm just going to go knit instead. So I will be back probably in about 10 days time. We'll see. Follow me on Instagram if you want to be caught up on everything. I'm the Happy Knitting Podcast on Instagram. And until I see you again, happy knitting. I look forward to hearing from you on the Rav Group, on YouTube, on Instagram. Winners, please do get in touch with me. And sorry for the crazy episode. Have a great week. Happy knitting. Bye.